Close your eyes. See nothing. Be nothing. This is life without the right to vote. Now, open your eyes. See the world as a registered voter, resplendent in democracy's light.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Adeptus Ridiculous Podcast. My name is DK Diamantes. His name is Bricky. You know why you're here. We know why you're here. And if maybe you want to support the podcast because you like this episode, head over to patreon.com/Adeptus Ridiculous, where you can get access to the Discord, bloopers if they happen. $15 tier gets you access to all of our posters in their crispiest digital form. Patreon.com/Adeptus Ridiculous. Bricky, how are we doing?
We are doing great. How are you doing?
It's morning, all right.
Oh, yes, sir, it is. It is a 7:58 a.m. morning. It's good stuff. However, I'm going to enter ad mode. De-entering ad mode. You
sound like a Bluetooth headset trying to figure out how to pair. Pairing mode.
Connected.
Good morning, AdRick crew. This episode of Adeptus Ridiculous is sponsored by Raycon and their new Everyday Earbuds Classic and, they closed, this gorgeous Galaxy case. The Everyday Earbuds Classic are a fantastic choice for your earbud needs. They have great sound quality. They have fantastic noise cancellation. I'm even using it now, considering that I can barely hear my own voice. And not only that, they recharge in a fraction of the time of many other competitors. Great price, great battery life, great audio, portable, and you can also get this gorgeous little protective carrying case that looks like a cool little Galaxy. Because I like space, and I got the space one because it's really cool. With their great amount of 32-hour battery life, 8 hours of complete full playtime, and all of the other great features, Raycon is a great choice, and you should check them out. So go ahead and go to buyraycon.com/Adric to get 20% off the brand new Everyday Earbuds Classic. That's buyraycon.com/Adric for 20% off this beautiful new Everyday Earbuds Classic. Thank you so much for sponsoring this video, and let's continue with the podcast.
Oh, was it a Raycon ad? Please tell me it was a Raycon ad.
It was a Raycon ad, yeah.
Let's go!
So the timing is quite good. Yeah, I don't tell you what we're doing in the beginning, so it's there's always a little secret added in each episode.
Yeah.
But
funny, I was literally just pairing a new set of Raycons to my to a projector I have, and I was like, oh yeah, pairing mode. I haven't had to pair those in a while.
They kind of like I forget the name of her. What's the name of the nice lady who was the voice for like fighter jets? It was like Bitchin' Betty or something like that.
I have no idea.
No, it was like an old name like that because she was the one who did the voice for like fighter jet things where they're like pull up, missile, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Oh, no, it is often known as Bitchin' Betty, apparently.
Yeah, yay! I got some things right.
That's cool. I didn't know that was a thing. You learn something new every day, and that'll be it for this episode.
About 20 stick jockeys out there are nodding their heads like, yay, I have been recognized. Hell yeah. Well, anyway, I have a quote for you today. However, I'm going to preface it by saying today is not an episode of Warhammer. It is an episode on something else.
Oh.
And because of that, because if I gave you the quote, you would only start guessing Warhammer things, and that's just not fair. For me.
Wow, that's very nice of you. Okay. You could have you could have and just started laughing at me.
That's what Shy would have done. That's a Shy thing.
That's true. Nice. You're a little nicer than that. Shy would have let me wriggle around and worm for like 15 minutes guessing only Warhammer stuff. Yeah.
Would you still listen to my podcast if I was a worm?
Of course. All right, what's my quote, Ricky?
Your quote is, you might hear people ask, do we really need all those planets? The truth is, if you hear this, report the traitor who said it to the nearest loyalty officer immediately.
That sounds like a Helldivers thing.
God
that sounds
damn,
like a Helldivers 2 thing. Hell yeah. As soon as it was like, report to your local blah, blah, blah officer. It sounds like that doesn't sound like democracy to me.
I mean, it could have been Star Wars. This could have been like an ISB type thing.
That's true. It could have. It very easily could have been a Star Wars thing.
Yeah, because Andor is the best Star Wars ever made, but we'll talk about that a different day. So Helldivers. Helldivers, a game that Shy is actually a pretty super fan of, to be perfectly honest. Maybe not everyone quite knows that.
Lately, the only tweets of Shy's that pop up for me are Helldivers related. It's all like, oh yeah, I've been in the trenches fighting for this place, and if we lose it's not my fault, or something like that. It's yeah, Shy is very big into Helldivers too.
Very much enjoys the Helldivers, indeed.
It's a good game.
Helldivers, obviously, it's a very good game. Helldivers, obviously, is a game with a lot of a very, very funny gameplay and concepts. There's a lot of stuff going on in the Helldivers world, and not only that, Helldivers has a very great classic satirical style nature to its world and its lore, which obviously blends in very closely to Warhammer due to having bits of authoritarian political satire, which are obviously a big parts of the games.
Yeah.
So because of that, also, I did not know we have a different background for today's episode. That's actually sick as hell.
Oh wow, that's pretty. Why am I always a cat boy?
I actually think the SEAF part is a little funnier, if I'm going to be honest. So, Helldivers, it's lore part 1. We will have a part 2 sometime in the future. But for the first one, part 1 is entirely focused around humanity. The most equal species of them all.
Oh yeah, as it oft tends to be in these sort of dystopian sci-fi warscapes, right?
Hell
Humanity always
yeah.
tends to be a little very humanity focused. We're the best. Xenos, not in my galaxy. Yeah.
Hell yeah. So, obviously, this is the part 1 of 2. It is just in time for the 10th anniversary of the complete edition of the first game. And obviously, Helldivers is cut from the same cloth, and very much so as many Paul Verhoeven films. Clearly, Starship Troopers is the first one that comes to mind, and is absolutely the correct one that should be coming to mind.
Yeah, definitely.
The history and lore of Helldivers brings us humanity that was kind of brought back from the brink of self-extinction, becoming a very proud and patriotic authoritarian militaristic empire that actually spans across 55 sectors of the Milky Way galaxy. And of course, at the center of it all is the crown jewel of the Federation, good old Super Earth, home of humanity and liberty.
I love a nice cup of liberty.
So we are going to be going over a little bit of the Federation of Super Earth and humanity itself in the world of the Helldivers, and all the patriots that are there who live their lives in Super Earth and all that great stuff. And then part 2, we'll talk more about the other factions of Helldivers for the most part. You know, things like the Tyranids, Terminids, and the bots and stuff.
Excuse me, Tyranid, nope. Brain, stop it.
It's too. They're too close. Okay, it
is really close. Yeah.
But anyway, early history of Super Earth.
Welcome to Earth.
Welcome to Earth. The quote is, "History matters. Today we remind you that Super Earth always has been and always will be." So,
damn.
As you can imagine, the Ministry of Truth has made it very difficult to find a lot of the records of humanity on the formation of the Federation of Super Earth, because a lot of that history before that time is based on various context clues and just general speculation. But the history of Super Earth and Earth generally is the same for quite some time until a conflict. The same as us. Until a conflict known as the Last Great War. It's not really known how it began or how it really ended, but based off of the damage it left behind, it likely happened at some point during like the tail end of the Cold War. The Super Earth of today has entire areas of the globe that are completely inhospitable and are denoted as wasteland zones, most likely assumed to be the type of deal with like a nuclear fallout, like the majority of the areas tend to be the northern part of the globe. Notably, a massive swath of Russia has been destroyed.
Huge part of Russia. Jesus Christ.
The entire UK is also gone, which is just kind of funny.
Oh, poor UK. They can't catch a break these days. It's tough. That's tough.
Listen, they didn't want to have any more Warhammer-esque ones, so they got rid of all the Brits.
Oh no!
Yeah, all the Balkans is gone, but like we'll just kind of let that one sit there for a moment.
Yeah, well, yeah. Oh no!
So those are the wasteland zones, of course. Little tops of Greenland, big chunk of Canada, and the damage, of course, at the time was probably far more substantial. And it's just these are the areas that are still affected.
Okay.
Now, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, so they're still just uninhabited wastelands, just big, just craters everywhere, and it's just a very sort of like ruinous areas that nobody is like. Obviously, you're not repopulating these areas because they're wastelands.
Turns out that nuclear fallout lasts for a very long time.
Yeah, depending on the nuke that was used, and if it was an air burst or if it actually like impacted the ground, that thing could be.
It could be something else. This conflict crippled the globe and most likely would have caused the extinction of humanity in general had it not been for refugees that found themselves taking shelter in the Greater Sunda Islands in the Indonesian archipelago. It's now known as Port Mercy. And due to the war, societal order collapsed and was obviously left in a quote unquote democratic anarchy. During this time, the Democratic Council had rallied the survivors under a new planet unifying government that was led by the idea of managed democracy. And that ideology was able to push its way through the ashes of war and it regained control of the Earth, ushering in the birth of the Federation of Super Earth. We don't really know when this happened, but the best context clue we have is the form of a weapon. In the first game, there was the M2016 Constitution, which is described as a reproduction of the old M1903 service rifle in the ancient times. You can assume that the reestablishment of this weapon and branding it with the year 2016 implies the Federation was in 2016 because you had the original 1903, right?
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
It makes sense,
Yeah, that's I feel like that's a fairly good context clue to when it was actually formed. Sure.
Yeah, and it looks like an old school, bolt action bayonet rifle. It's unfortunate. I actually love that gun a ton in Helldivers, but unfortunately in higher rank Helldives, you just need to spray bullets because there's so many enemies. I actually really, really like it because it basically like one taps bot devastators and stuff to the face. But you need to aim really well. And if you're ever fighting bots, you're getting like screen punched so much. It's just not, it ain't happening.
Yeah.
But anyway, in the early 2030s, Super Earth was no longer confined to the solar system due to the invention of something called the Alcubierre drive. I think it's how it's pronounced. It's a special device that let the Federation do fast and light travel and colonize planets that were, made exceptionally very easy. There was also another invention that around the time that was necessary to do the managed democracy. And that was over on the colony of the Northman's Creek, a socialist uprising and secession took place.
Oh, no.
And Super Earth was forced to come up with a new strategy to quell it, and that led to the invention of the Hellpod, which was obviously the rapid deployment of soldiers into the surface in like a buckshot manner.
Love those buckshot deployments of soldiers in hell pods. It sounds cool.
A classic meme, of course. Oh, Jedi can block lasers. Try this buckshot.
Well,
It makes sense.
They still got a lightsaber. They can just stop all the buckshot with their hand.
Oh yeah, that's the Force.
Yeah,
but on the early history of the Helldivers, at this moment it is as of this moment not fully known when the precursor of the actual Helldiver was founded. We know that the proto form of the Helldiver were known as the Super Earth Legion, who, judging by the description of the SC-37 Legionnaire armor, were a, quote, less patriotic precursor to the Helldivers. The phrase less patriotic appears to imply the Legion may have existed during the last Great War, and may have served as the fighting force of the Democratic Council to bring the rest of the warring world to heel. Regardless of their origin, the Thunder Warriors were eradicated in favor of the Space Marines. Yeah, as it should be clearly stated.
Yeah, they're the less democratic, that's very, very familiar, but still very cool.
So, as this is an episode on the humans, we won't go into too much detail on their specifics of their, quote, diplomatic relations over the years. But we will cover a few quick bits to bring us closer to the modern day part, because that's important, of course.
Okay. Oh, is that the Super Earth Legion Army outfit?
It's actually a sick outfit.
I was gonna say that looks so dope. I would wear that all day, every day.
I am a huge sucker for fighter jet looking outfit retrofitted for combat.
Oh, hell yeah. Right into my veins.
Yeah, that's absolutely awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point in the 2040s, the Federation made contact with two different species of alien, the Terminids and the Illuminate. Super Earth declared that the Terminids were dangerous and the spread of them needed to stop, but the death of them needed to happen due to a certain element of their body that leaves behind. And the Illuminate presented the Federation with a peace offering, but it was determined by the government that they actually had secret weapons of mass destruction, me tugging on my shirt collar, and a preemptive strike needed to be done against this dangerous species. They got WMDs over there.
We don't have any of those.
These were the dominoes that would start with the first ever galactic war, which during this conflict, another faction came into play, which is the cyborgs from the planet of Cyberstam. Once anti-democratic citizens of Super Earth, the half-man, half-machine cyborgs were a looming threat to Super Earth. And this came to fruition when a man with cybernetic enhancements blew himself up, as well as 8 civilians, which was more than enough to open a third front of the war.
Ooh. Yeah, that's not great. You don't love the explodey cyborg people. That's not great. Don't love that.
No, totally just killing 8 people and then starting an entire war based on that.
Yeah.
Nothing involving the Reichstag. That'd be ridiculous.
Yeah. I was about to say this sounds like something that could maybe actually happen.
No. Paul Verhoeven is entirely fictional. He has never made anything that ever related to modern day. You shut your mouth, DK.
Okay. Okay.
Moving on.
Let's move on, everyone.
Yes, sir. So, with that, now, of course, that was when the first galactic war ended back in 2084 for the absolute victory of the Federation of Super Earth. The Terminids were relegated to factory farms. The cyborgs were given, quote, dedicated and stable work in the mines of Cyberstam, and the Illuminate were forced to sign a treaty that resulted in the stripping of all of their technology, including their high-tech warp drives, and banishment from the galaxy. This resulted in the period known as the Great Democratization. Oh, God. Democratization.
The Great Democratization. Yeah, that's so Helldivers.
That's a hard one, yeah.
Yeah.
With hyper-advanced technology, free reign of the galaxy, and the concept of manifest democracy, not to be confused with democracy manifests, which may result in you being arrested for eating a succulent Chinese meal.
Right. Okay.
It's actually the first thing I thought of, and I was very happy that Possum put this in the script.
Fair. That's a good possumism. Possism.
Possum?
Possumism
Yeah,
is well, you get what I'm saying.
Please be nice to me. I have possum.
He's suffering from the possumisms.
So the Helldivers, from there, the Federation was able to rapidly expand across a major portion of the galaxy. And the Helldivers were mostly dismissed during this time, used only for anti-rebel operations and patriotism parties and marches. But this great period of great democratization lasted for a full 100 unobstructed years.
Wow.
Now, all good things come to the end, however. And on February 8th, 2184, the Federation was once again in conflict. The Terminids broke free of their farms. There is a new robotic threat known as the automatons, which is very similar to the cyborgs. Imagine that. And then the Helldivers were brought back to remobilize. This is now the still ongoing Second Galactic War. And if this wasn't enough, a more violent and reckless Illuminate returned to the galaxy on December 12th of 2184, making it once again a three-front battle. And I believe, if I'm unmistaken, that is where we are currently at in the timeline.
Okay, what do the Illuminate look like? Because by the time I'd stopped playing Helldivers 2, which was relatively early, they weren't a thing. I think people rumored that maybe they'd be a thing because they were like in the first one and like they knew the lore. So they're like, oh yeah, Illuminate totally could possibly absolutely be a thing. And I never saw them. I never saw their units. I never saw anything about what they look like, but they sound really cool.
Well, that's an image of them right there.
Oh, okay. I had seen that picture. For some reason, I thought that was the cyborgs. Like the early cyborgs. Okay. They look like, oh man, I'm not beating the war from allegations. My first thought was like, oh, from far away, they kind of look like Rhino, but they don't.
I mean, it's the classic case of most of these types of things where you have the hyper advanced, you have the militaristic, and you have the bugs, right? You got the Zerg, the Tyranids, and the Protoss. These are the Protoss.
Got you. Yeah.
As far as we know, I'm not 100% sure, like exactly what some of their individual faces look like. But at this point, they actually do, repurpose humans to fight as their like mainline, kind of like zombies. But those ones with the staffs and stuff, those are like the actual Illuminates.
Right. Those are like and everything else is sort of just their sort of repurposed zombies, if you will.
I mean, they do have other stuff. Like they've got a bunch of ships. They have like little drones. They got like a big walking strider. They kind of got a bit of a War of the Worlds vibe to them.
I was after I saw that walker, I was like, dude, that's War of the Worlds. War of the Worlds is getting a new movie with Ice Cube. The drone looks, I don't know why I really like the drone though.
I mean, the drone is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It is very, very neat.
I do not remember that enemy from Mass Effect 2. This one?
Yeah. Well, no, that's not from Mass Effect 2. She's just referencing. They kind of look like husks, among other things.
I thought you said that picture was from Mass Effect 2. I was like, the fuck?
Oh, right. The Praetorian is sick. That's right. It's like all the husks inside of it.
Yeah.
Adric trying to not talk about Mass Effect in one episode challenge failed.
Impossible. It's not going to happen. If you just put it on your goddamn bingo card, right? There's an Adric bingo card. One of the spots is the one in the middle is Adric talks about Mass. It's a free space. You're going to get it every time.
So we'll get into the workings of the government itself as well as civilian life under the government in a bit first. But we should go over what Super Earth actually looks like. It is, of course, united under one banner. There is no need for archaic divides of continents. So all land masses on Super Earth have been revised and denoted as sectors, each with a mega city. And so 7 sectors total, 7 mega cities total. reflected proudly as the 7 stars on the contemporary flag of Super Earth. Now, unfortunately, many of those landmarks and cities have taken heavily damage or been outright destroyed due to the very aggressive Illuminate invasion, which will be more in episode 2. So the landmarks in the mega cities here are being presented as more of like a historical manner. So yeah, hence the big 7 on the flag, which is really cool detail.
I never actually knew that. I thought that was just supposed to be like, oh yeah, it's kind of like, it's your general flag, hooray, freedom, stars and stripes type of thing. That's cool that it's like all the mega cities that are still alive. Hell yeah.
So Section 1, which is formerly known as Oceania and Australia, of course, is the aforementioned Port Mercy, which is the mega city 1. It also has the famous Minor Barrier Reef. Section 2 contains most of the remnants of China and Asia and has mega city 2, which is known as Equality on Sea, or Shanghai. It received its name due to a historic conference that took place where it was determined that humanity was the most equal species in the galaxy. It is also home of the very famous Great Wall of Democracy.
Oh, wow. I love that Great Wall of Democracy. Also, I love that they're really leading into of course, we're more equal than others. Everyone's made equal, but some are more equal.
Of course. Sector 3 has the remnants of Russia and the Scandinavian countries, including Iceland and Greenland. It is the home to the capital of Super Earth, known as Prosperity City, which was formerly Stockholm. Prosperity City houses not only the president, but also the entirety of the Democratic Council. I'm not sure. So I don't quite remember. What is the dev team ethnicity? Are they Swedish?
Ooh, I don't even know. I don't even remember what the dev team's name is. Like, who are the devs again? Like, what's the company?
Arrowhead. I wasn't sure they put the capital of Super Earth over where they are in Arrowhead, because that would just be really funny.
You gotta do stuff like that. You gotta.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't quite remember. Regardless, it's kind of funny. Mm-hmm. Sector 4 has the remnants of Europe and is the home of Megacity 4, which is better known as Administration Center 02 or Admin Sen. It is all the administrative work and processing for Super Earth and blesses said documents with the stamp of ages, also including the Leaning Tower of Peace.
Oh, Helldivers. Never change. Never change.
Section 5 contains India as well as the Arabian Peninsula, as well as the eastern portion of Africa. It is particularly lively with entertainment and sights due to its megacity known as Eagleopolis. It is the home of 2 of the last 3 remaining rainforests. It has the Great Mall of Super Earth and the Congressional Rapids Family Fun Zone. It also has the gateways at Giza, which are the luxury apartments built into the former Great Pyramids of Giza.
Oh, we love respecting the.
God, I gotta. Okay. All right. Section 6 is the majority of South America. It has one of the last 3 remaining rainforests on Super Earth, and the mega city of Remembrance stands as a statement to the resilience of humanity. Though it is not explicitly stated, this city is likely a home of the Wall of Martyrs, where the names of every single fallen soldier are inscribed daily. How many a day, you might ask?
How many a day, Bricky?
Every day, millions of soldiers have their names inscribed upon the Wall of Martyrs. Show your support. Purchase one of the Super Earth's exclusive Martyr Day celebration packages.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Now, Remembrance is also one of the cities that was lost due to the attack by the Illuminate, but unlike the other losses, this one is being mentioned directly due to how due to a vote that was held community-wise just a few days ago, they renamed the city as it's being rebuilt. The vote has been concluded, and I can proudly confirm to all listeners that the former city of Remembrance is now officially known as Gun.
Did they really just rename it Gun?
Yes.
Gun?
That is not a joke. It has been renamed to Gun. That is not a joke.
All right. Okay. There was a democratic vote, huh?
Among players.
Oh, well, okay. Now it makes sense. If it was just among the whole play, okay. that's suddenly a lot more. Oh yeah, now I get it.
Yeah, the player base has renamed it to Gun. I imagine this is not particularly surprising.
No, I'm surprised it's such a tame name if it was the player base that got to pick the name.
Yeah, and not like furry bussy hole 69. Yeah.
That's a sentence I could have done without hearing this morning.
Shai, do you think Craig shows his?
Oh man, the Craig slander. No.
For context for our viewers, we have a recording bot in Discord called Craig, and it's a bear.
We have so many listeners that are probably named Craig that are like, "What the fuck, Bricky? What are you?
What the hell? Why fuck me for, Bricky?"
Yeah, exactly. What the fuck did I do?
You know, there's one Craig in the audience that's also a furry that is like, huh?
How does he know?
How does he know?
Yeah.
Anyway, the final sector is Sector 7 and makes up the remnants of the USA. It has been long rumored that the core tenets of managed democracy came from this sector. Megacity 7 is known as York Supreme, which was the last York standing during the Great York Conundrum, promising to hold strong against all other Yorks. Outside of the statue of Lady Liberty, is Sector 7 also has the Superstone National Park.
Hell yeah. I do kind of love that Helldivers 2 has a lot of this is a very serious war, super democracy. And I kind of like that they don't take themselves seriously and there's a lot of comedic satire attached to it too.
One of my favorite things, also the Pacific Ocean is now known as the Liberty Ocean. And the Atlantic Ocean is the same because it's worse than the Pacific. And the Indian Ocean is now the Pan-Asian Ocean. Also, the ice caps are long gone because, of course, they are. And so the South Pole is now home to large pockets of humanity, but not quite enough to constitute a megacity. So hence the phrase section under development.
Oh, okay. So funny. Yeah. It's of course the ice caps are gone, but now that they're gone, we can live there, kind of.
I love the fact that, sometimes I go to Vegas, and the dystopian bastardization of culture is one of the things I find to be absolutely hilarious. I love going to Vegas and seeing the Sun Tzu slot machine.
Oh,
or
yeah.
The Chinese monk slot machine, the Confucius one or something like that, or anything along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
It's just,
or the giant bass fishing pyramid.
I mean, that's true, but I almost find it more fun. It's an inner peace 777. It's such an insane bastardization of culture that I find it funny. I feel the same way about Helldivers, where it's yes, the Great Wall of Democracy.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so good.
Humans. Oh, humans.
So now we get to talk about the government and the ministries of managed democracy. So, obviously, the core basis of the Federation is managed democracy. And in that, citizens are able to vote with the assistance of automated voting software. The voter goes into a voting booth, answers a few key questions about their views on the galactic wide web, and a candidate is selected for them that best aligns with their answers. Quote, I heard that some dissidents wanted us to select our own candidates instead of using the algorithm. Great idea. Everyone will just become a political expert overnight. Treasonous morons.
Jesus. All right.
This voting software is regularly updated to better reflect the candidates that people truly want. With each iteration, voters will find even better candidates. Now, you might say, this sounds awfully like an authoritarian-fronted guided democracy with the illusion of choice to legitimize its existence, to which Possum says, there is a half-off sale at the Great Mall of Super Earth.
Whoa! Oh, I suddenly don't care about the authoritarian... I suddenly don't care about the democratic voting machine.
Let's go!
Yay!
Now, there are 3 branches of government in the Federation of Super Earth. You have the legislative, judicial, and executive branch, which are all equally important right now and all come into play. The legislative branch houses Super Earth High Command, which is the combined presence of the Senate and the House of Representatives, basically the same thing you would expect in the U.S. government. The judicial branch is the home of the Democratic Council, which serves the body responsible for the interpretation of the Constitution of Super Earth. They ensure that all elected leaders abide by the basic laws of the Constitution with the gentle touch of an iron fist. Now, the executive branch is a little different. There is the president of Super Earth, but their official capacity outside of their title is actually relatively unknown. What is known is that the biggest portion of the executive branch comes in the form of the ministers, which serve as the real pillars in which managed democracy is enforced. So in total, there are 8 known ministries in the Federation of Super Earth: the Ministry of Truth, Defense, Unity, Expansion, Science, Humanity, Prosperity, and Intelligence. Every single one of these ministries works directly with a mega corporation that by proxy becomes a state-mandated company. Liking it so far?
Yeah, I mean, so far it's, unfortunately, it's about what you'd expect it to be for old Super Earth.
We would, all backed by corporations naturally. The Ministry of Truth is responsible for the spreading of government-approved facts as well as the values of managed democracy through all channels within the Federation. It has total control over the internet and also the owner of Stroman Media, which provides news to all active Helldivers. The spokesperson of the Ministry of Truth are the democracy officers, and the accuracy rating of the Ministry of Truth is 100% as reported by the Ministry of Truth.
I love that they have to call themselves the Ministry of Truth because, guys, of course, we would never lie. Everything that comes out of our mouth is obviously the truth. Propaganda, not us. Never. No way. No how. 100% truth. Also, I love that these posters just feel like they're straight out of like a George Orwell book, like a 1986, Big Brother's always watching you. We're informed, so you're informed. If loyalty is a reward, report any dissident activity, you'll be rewarded. Spy on your fellow man for us. And
did you mean 1984?
What did I say?
86.
Oh, yes, I did mean 1984.
Gotcha. Just making sure. Now,
my immediate shock of what do you mean I didn't say that? Gotcha.
But yeah, I mean, they all are very Orwellian. Clearly, I mean, it's very kind of gives me some RoboCop. It's Verhoeven. It's so Verhoeven.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the Ministry of Defense is responsible for the management and deployment of the Super Earth armed forces, including naturally the Helldivers. They have the ability to wage war against all of the ultraviolet external and obviously internal threats to manage democracy. Their main manufacturer and company supplier is Morganson Defense, which is also the mandatory supplier of weapons to civilians as well. Morganson is favored for hunting, warfare, home defense, and most of all, tradition.
Most of all, tradition. Not that other stuff, of course. Of course.
The Ministry of Unity are the internal protectorates of the citizens of the Federation that are dedicated to ensuring that every citizen is united under one banner. Their main police force are known as loyalty officers, who are responsible for the enforcement of managed democracy and are the ones that you report suspicions to. They are known for providing the sentencing in public executions and operate the freedom camps that dissidents are sent to.
Oh boy.
Also, the Ministry of Unity is responsible for 2 apparently very important things that are never fully clarified: the Democratic Investigation Agency and the Chamber of Unanimous Decision. The first one most likely being some kind of secret police, and the second one being some kind of judicial chamber. They also monitor the entire internet.
Oh, man. Not topical at all for this day and age, eh?
Remember when people were like, when Helldivers 2 came out and people just like didn't get it?
Yeah.
And they were just like, Why the hell wouldn't humanity be the good guys? Like, it just. I mean, I never like got into the lore this deep before, but doing it currently, I'm like, God damn, dude, how did you miss this? Like, are you that stupid, or do you just want it to be like this? Like, God damn.
Yeah.
Anyway, next we have the Ministry of Expansion, which is responsible for spreading managed democracy through the stars and the extraction of resources and terraforming planets. They work with each planet to establish a colonial presence and work directly with each planet's colonial overseer, which directly implies that instead of being the head of a planet in its own right, the colonial overseer are basically just upper managers in the expansion department. So in order to accomplish extractions, they rely heavily on ulterior, like ULTERIOR, ulterior
motives, yeah.
Ulterior industries, which makes the big bucks from the extraction of element 710, which we'll cover more in part 2. This is also the mining industry that's particularly prominent in the Federation. Big mining complexes operated by the Ministry of Expansion are known as deep mantle forges, and of course will go to the mantle of the planet, as their name suggests. Ministry of Science is unsurprising. Civil scientific research, for the most part. Research and development of science within the armed forces of Super Earth is obviously claiming materials from Helldivers. This is why we have samples.
My samples.
It is also has the major research centers that conduct dedicated alien research, known as the Xenoentomology Center and the Center of Science. They work very closely with the Ampudyne, which provides replacement limbs for citizens. So if you happen to lose a limb while working, you are strongly encouraged to get a replacement limb by signing your life away and joining the Ampudyne's indentured labor force, where you are given a replacement limb that makes you an optimal worker for whatever the Federation requires.
Oh man, that's brutal.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right. Thanks, Ampudyne.
Can I really appreciate how the Helldivers control group Premium Warbond has their little jetpack thing, and then there's just 2 smoking boots in the background? Absolutely hysterical.
I hadn't noticed that until you said it. I was just scrolling through all the pictures. I was like, oh yeah, Humpty Dumpty Dumpty Dum. You know, oh yep, there's the Helldivers armor, and yep, there's the smoke. Yeah. That's great.
If you ever use the teleport armor too much, you just go kaboom. But it is tested and it's safe by the Ministry of Science.
Totally.
So anyway.
What could go wrong?
You also have the Ministry of Humanity, and they act as the Federation's HR department to make sure all voters are healthy and productive. They manage the education system as well as gene management and social grading through the citizenship classification structure. If you want to get married, you send your application to the MOH. If a family member dies, you notify the MOH, and they'll guide you on proper patriot disposal. If you want to have a baby, you of course need to support your CO1 form before committing any act that could result in a child. The megacorp that works directly with the Ministry of Humanity is COB Genetics, which works on gene manipulation of both the food you eat and the basic genetic structure, as well to maintain productive workers for the Federation.
Right. Shai was telling me about the form you needed to fill out if you wanted to do a little bit of the, you want to bump uglies a little bit, you got to sign the form.
That's right. The CO1 form is because it says any act that could result in a child. So, make sure that if God is watching, and you don't have time for the form, you just do butt stuff. We should not glaze over the fact that this is like literally eugenics.
I mean, I struggle to say the word dystopian, but like it is,
bro.
It is like it is a dystopian future, and it's eugenics. It's very. Ooh, yeah, it's that's not great.
It's very Gattaca. It's got quite the Gattaca in there.
Yeah.
The Ministry of Prosperity is responsible not only for the economy, but for resources and consumer goods. They have complete control over the the economy of the Federation through the bank, and it's the sole bank of the Federation and the sponsor for all products, infrastructure, and business ventures. The most notable restaurants sponsored by the MOP include Seafood, Bugfest, Liberty, and Democracy Cafe. They also have Democracy. They also have notable products, including the energy drink Justice, made with real synthetic fruit juice, and Eagles Collide perfume, which you may hear a lot on those commercials.
Let's go. Love a good fragrance. Hell yeah.
Finally, there's the Ministry of Intelligence, which is responsible for the collection of external data and information, transmitting that data to the other ministries. It is presumed that they are responsible for the monitoring of all surveillance satellites across the Federation, and they tend to be the ones who are the first to confirm the movement of anti-democratic factions, as well as systems targeting anti-democratic activities. But
also,
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just because Shy posted it. I always thought that the Liberty thing was just like a meme and just something someone said is like, oh yeah, liberty, like, oh ha 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 ha, it's liberty. But like, I thought that was like a community meme. I didn't know that was actually in the game, like as a thing that they like sold, like stock and bond, and like, yep, there it is.
No, I mean there are ads for it in game. Like it is a thing. We are full. Like the satire has gone so far around, it's doing laps on us. Like it is a part of it for everything.
Okay. I just thought it was like some community meme that like the players thought up. I did not realize it was actually in the game.
So let's talk a little bit about the life for a Super Earth citizen. Quote, I earned some citizenship points back in the day. All it took was reporting some unpatriotic talk I heard in the barracks. Now there's one less dissident, and I got one more doctor's visit each year.
Oh, that's awful. Oh, man.
So,
all right.
Life as a citizen in the Federation of Super Earth is full of unwavering patriotism instilled at a very young age. Each and every morning, they must swear the Pledge of Allegiance to Super Earth. If the citizen is not on Super Earth at the time, they must orient themselves to be facing Super Earth at the time of reciting the pledge. In a similar manner, if a citizen puts on a piece of clothing that has the Super Earth flag on it, they must recite the anthem and then salute a reflection of themselves. Which is fucking hilarious.
So stupid.
Now, if the minimum age of employment in the Federation is 7, and from that day onwards, citizens are allowed to volunteer in any field of industry they deem fit. The only thing off limits is the Super Earth Armed Forces, or SEAF, which requires a citizen to be 18 or older and be in fair health. The minimum enlistment period is 10 years, no exceptions. However, due to the extremely militaristic leading of the Federation, there is an extreme degree of encouraging young citizens to join SEAF as soon as possible, which is also encouraged by the free supplying of a rifle as soon as the citizen turns 16, which is at one point was the M2016 Constitution, but has been replaced by the R2124 Constitution.
Okay, so you can start working at 7 years old, huh? And you just go like, this is a yearn for the mind situation?
They yearn for it, bro.
They yearn for it. And at 16, they just give you a gun. It's like, oh, just here's a subtle idea on what your future could be. Gun.
Hey, they renamed it to gun, remember?
How silly of me. How silly of me. But the suburbs do look nice.
This is the future. This is the future patriots want. Now, regardless of whether or not a citizen serves, most Federation citizens have a surprising degree of martial prowess due to their passion for SEAF and the Helldivers. On various maps in the game, you can find the body of a lone citizen literally surrounded by the bodies of enemy combatants. Sometimes it's like a farmer surrounded by Tyranid warriors. Other times you can find, Terminid warriors. Other times you can find destroyed automaton hulks next to a downed citizen. oftentimes these enemies have something like a rogue shovel in their heads, implying the citizen was able to get pretty strong and do a quite large degree of damage with like minimal tools.
Pretty cool. Take down a big old automaton with just a shovel. That's pretty based, actually.
Yeah, like the memes aside, the SEAF troops in the game are actually not terrible. Like when you truly think about a Helldiver in, well, I think we'll probably get to Helldivers at some point, but yeah, we will at some point. But like the Helldivers and like the actual Citizen Super Earth actually kind of bang. They do quite well.
I mean, they're trained from a very young age to be like this too. Like it is instilled in them to sort of like, oh, you gotta fight for Super Earth. You gotta be in good shape for Super Earth. You gotta, So that doesn't actually surprise me too much.
No, I mean, them dying a horrible amount and quite a lot is part of the satire, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you do gotta realize that you do take out quite a few things before you do die.
Yeah.
So. Additionally, the indoctrination tends to include the incentivization of identifying those who are either dissenters or who fail to show basic signs of Super Earth loyalty. This can either be accusing someone of colluding with the Illuminate, which is in the first game, failing to salute a Super Earth flag, or other possible things. In the eyes of the citizens of the Federation, there is no intolerance or discrimination to anyone that is not an avid patriot. Anyone who does not support managed democracy is not considered to be a citizen, because all Super Earth citizens are created equal. But if you do not support it, you are not a citizen. But the Helldivers are the most equal, of course.
Of course. They're more equal. Everyone's equal, but they're more equal. Is there any sort of false allegation shenanigans? Because usually when you get this sort of Orwellian thing, it's a lot of like, oh yeah, I don't like my neighbor because they're coming up in the world and I don't want them to take my spot, so I'm all report that they didn't salute or they didn't say the stuff, and I'm gonna get them hauled away, taken off, killed, so that nobody takes my spot. I'm gonna get an extra doctor's visit every year or something like that.
Smile.
Just checking. I kind of thought that was going to be the answer. Just had to check and see. Okay, cool.
Smile. So, of course, every single person on Super Earth speaks English, but some have regional dialects like British, Australian, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as mentioned before, the Federation is reliant on the CCS, or Citizenship Classification Structure, as a social credit deducted. Now, the classes of social credit range from Class A+ all the way down to Class E, and your CCS ranking determines the quality of your and your family's lives. Higher ranked you are, the higher priority services, including better medicine, better housing, the ability to have a pet, fast pass for voting in elections. It's not quite clear what impacts your CCS rating, but various pieces of dialogue insinuate two major ways you can level up, which is reporting dissonance to the local authorities and serving in the military.
Of course.
Most Federation citizens live fairly normal lives and enjoy the same things that we do in our reality, such as books, comics, and television. But there's a bit of a twist to this, where any form of art or media that is transmitted through the galactic wide web, made by anyone in the Federation, transfers ownership of the creation to the government just by uploading it. So whatever is enjoyed by the populace is furthermore an extension of the government's reach.
Ah, I see. That don't love that, but sure. Oh, Shy says, "Oh, I have one thing for DK. Pride of the Whistleblower Cape." Oh no. Not all right. Granted to the Truth Enforcers Informant of the Month, this tasteful cape conjures images of dissident blood on asphalt. Love the pride of the whistleblower. Love it.
I love democracy.
Yeah, love it. I would never go against democracy.
Now, there are very popular TV shows such as Can't Ration My Love and Our Love is Like Liberty, brackets indestructible, closing brackets. There are also stories involving the SEAF, the Scaleless, Well, a
I
very
was about to
popular
say
novel.
that.
Yeah, the funny dragon.
Mhm.
A very popular novel known as Truth Enforcers, Enforcers of Truth, is also a very military centric. There are also musicals such as Lost My Heart to a Man in a Helmet and Hazard Pay, the musical.
I love them. I love all of it. I love the satire and the humor and the jab at all of it.
It's
I'm
so
all
good.
on board. Mm-hmm.
Now, the majority of citizens obviously live in very tight quarters, urban sprawl, but no matter the size of the city block, there is always room made for well-kept green lawns, parks, and playgrounds to represent the classic propaganda-esque vision of the idyllic life that everyone under managed democracy deserves. And as you can imagine, the vast majority of people in the Federation are not born on Super Earth and will likely never see Super Earth in their lifetimes. Tourism is apparently quite expensive, and the government owns the bank. But just because they will never see Super Earth in person does not mean they don't have a perfect vision of it in their hearts.
Aww. Something about just you saying, yeah, tourism is expensive, and Super Earth owns the bank is just like, oh God, it's just awful. It's just awful.
It's always good to remind, you know?
Yeah. It's just like, by the way, Super Earth owns the bank. Which one? All of them.
Yes.
Yes. So the answer is yes. It's like,
Now, anyone who has ever seen even the smallest clip in Helldivers will know about the Super Earth like Liberty talk. A lot of the classic expressions like "oh my God" or "sweet Jesus" or as DK would say, "Jesus," are that's a paucism. Are replaced with words like "sweet liberty" or "democracy above." I mean, if we're gonna boss baby this, by the throne,
sure, for the
very
emperor.
much,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, usual stuff. Plenty of references to the physical manifestation of liberty in the form of Lady Liberty. And some NPCs will talk about her as if she is some form of deity. In fact, Helldivers 2 has a war bond called Servants of Freedom that go into a bit further with two very specific armor models, the IE3 Martyr armor and the IE12 Righteous armor. The Martyr armor is dedicated to and modeled after the statue of Mournful Liberty, which is a physical representation of liberty's lamentation over the existence of tyranny. Those who wear the armor dedicated their lives to drying liberty's tears in a form of almost religious penance. And the IE12 Righteous armor is based on the statue of Judicious Liberty, which is the more common symbol across the Federation. According to the armor description, statues of judicious liberty are placed in a myriad of places like schoolyards, checkout lines, rehab centers, and so on to keep a watchful eye over these places like a guardian angel. Those who wear this armor embody it in almost a physical sense, making them look a little angelic.
Those armors are sick.
Yeah, those armors are sick. Obviously, you can see one has tears, one does not.
Damn, love that.
Obviously, the same amount of religious fervor for liberty is built into the structures around Super Earth and the Federation as a whole. Despite most of the buildings being utilitarian, like farms and silos, what have you, the more populated areas have buildings adorned with affirmations of managed democracy and liberty itself. If these buildings are damaged, then you would assume that the enemy is attacking liberty itself and therefore a justification to retaliate with the full might of the Federation.
Of course.
So don't vandalize a building or social credits going down.
Way down. And so
or you're killed, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, or you just die.
There are also liberty-based holidays. You have Liberty Day, which is the biggest one, 26th of October, the first and final draft of managed democracy pushed by the Democratic Council. It goes on for 24 hours. It has very notable events, including the dissident executions, brought to you by Eagle Sweat, the Liberty Day Parade, an orbital bombardment of the moon with over 15,000 megatons of ordnance, and a mandatory synchronized statue and oath of citizenship.
Why are we orbital bombarding the moon?
Because we can,
again?
I guess.
Is that like their like hysterical take on like, oh, look at the fireworks display that we absolutely don't need, that's like polluting our world. It's like, oh, look, we've taken it to the nth degree and we just, tactical nuke the shit out of the moon.
There's the Liberty Day highlights. I don't know what you want from me. They blow up the moon, my man.
They do. With, like you said, 15,000 megatons of ordnance. Jesus.
Yeah. It is what it is. Hell yeah.
You got to get ready for those sponsored executions.
Not to mention, they also have Class B citizens are given a full hour off of work, so they can also watch the parades.
Wow, how benevolent. A full hour, you say, off of work? Damn.
There's also they replace Christmas with the Festival of Reckoning, which is a 3-day festival where Helldivers are provided with special weapons and stratagems reflected of the theme of the day. This past year, the first day involved Incendiary, the second Explosive, and the third is the Feast of the Electorate, which celebrates the first free and managed election. A special fund is tapped into, and Helldivers are given a bounty of weapons to work with, and the more kills they rack up, the more discounts their family and communities get on consumer goods. The higher the toll, the greater the savings.
Also, I didn't realize it until Chide said it in chat. The Liberty Day highlights has a For Your Kids section. It's Liberty Day Pyre, Whack a Terminid, Meet a Helldiver, and last but not least, For Your Kids, Enlistment.
It is quite humorous. Like, if you have a Helldiver in your family, the more things they kill, the more percentage you save on goods and services.
Yeah, Jesus. Well, that's one way to do it for sure. That's
finally, to round the episode out, we have the Helldivers themselves. The Helldivers, generally speaking, are picked from enlisted SEAF members, though plenty of broadcasts state that citizens can enlist directly for the Helldivers from the drop. Per one of the recruitment posters, it says, "Sign up to the Super Earth Armed Forces today, and maybe one day you will be a Helldiver too." According to the intro cinematic of Helldivers 2, the average age of Helldivers trainees is 18.7 years old. And prior to the Second Galactic War, the training for a Helldiver took place in an undisclosed training facility, but in the current time frame post-Illuminate attack, it takes place in the former tourism world of Zagima Paradise. The most important part of this training has to do with who coordinates it, which is General Brash, or as his full title specifies, Super 10-Star General Brash. Brash is, quote-unquote, Super Earth's oldest and most grizzled war hero and was a veteran of the First Galactic War. So now, folks who know the chain of command works in our modern-day military may note that the highest number of stars a general can get is 5, and a 5-star general is second only to the commander-in-chief. Now, you could brush this off as a very over-the-top naming convention used by a federation infamous for over-the-top naming conventions, or you can conclude that the very literal General Brash is more powerful than the entirety of the Federation's governing body, which is most likely the case.
Yeah. Wow, what a poster. Sheesh.
Now, after a recruit has impressed the very much definitely alive general, the recruit is granted the rank of cadet and provided with their cape, and are whisked past the Helldiver contract of employment, which passing the contract of employment is basically the same as reading it. And from there, Helldivers entered their assigned super destroyer, and by assigned, we mean unexpectedly frozen and put into one and thawed when needed, and are able to pick any mission they desire that will ultimately benefit the spread of managed democracy. All Helldivers know they are heavily outgunned and heavily outnumbered with only 4 to a squad, but Helldivers are more than prepared to handle any action they may face. Now,
So essentially the tutorial is what we just did.
yes, basically.
Yeah.
Their passion for managed democracy has been made the Helldivers larger-than-life symbolic heroes to the citizens of the Federation, and many NPCs will make statements on how it's unbelievable that they can get this close to a Helldiver. Many children have Helldiver toy helmets, action figures, posters for Helldivers in their room, and seeing a Helldiver on the streets will basically make all citizens stop to salute them.
I'm trying not to boss baby here, but sounds awful familiar to another sci-fi franchise that we cover once or twice.
Yeah, it's very much Space Marine-y, yeah.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Now, Helldivers aren't just the elite fighting force against the alien threats. They also serve as special police force that aids the Ministry of Unity when their standard law officers are not enough. This is confirmed in the most recent release of the Force of Law War Bomb that grants you the Grand Juror armor, very much Judge Dredd, more specifically the 2012 film, and the JP-20 Correct Officer armor, which is far more inspired by RoboCop, which is, hell yeah, more Verhoeven.
Yeah, I mean, combining Judge Dredd and RoboCop, I mean, I don't see how you can lose.
Now, moving from that, despite the grandeur of the Helldivers, there is the inevitability of death. Canon-wise, Helldivers are expected to survive after they are unfrozen for about 2 minutes. This leads to an absolutely wild and ridiculous theory that Helldivers are cloned en masse, which would explain why so many look and sound the same.
I mean, that makes sense to me. Yeah, especially with a place like Super Earth, as shady as they are, I could totally see them just cloning Helldivers en masse as just a fighting force to throw at an enemy just, without any regard. Like, oh, we lost Helldivers, no big deal. Clone the next batch. Yeah.
Me staring at DK as he speaks these words, excited that my social credit's about to go way up.
Oh no! Don't report Bricky. You need a co-host. Don't report me, please. Please. I didn't mean it. I'm saluting the Helldivers as we speak. I swear.
It's a theory. It is a fan theory that undermines the fanaticism of marriage democracy to begin with. Because yes, after the Illuminate War, there was an order to quadruple breeding permits. Which, hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, hell yeah, brother. But why would you need increased breeding if you could just clone more super soldiers?
Well, the question is not that they're like clones in the sense of Star Wars clones, but maybe that they just happen to clone various Helldivers just to have a few more of them. I imagine it's more like taking a stock to double up on like the thousands of Helldivers, not like cloning one particular guy.
Okay, got you.
But regardless, billions of people in the Federation are born into and willing to die for Super Earth with a drop of a hat. So a clone army would negate the necessity of basic training for soldiers and would 100% negate the constant barrage of propaganda asking for you to do your part and join the Helldivers. So it's most likely just a fan theory, not actually true. But hey, you never know. It could be a fun way to game the game part of it. Like, why are there only 4 Helldiver voices?
Yeah, the fan theories are like that, right? They're fun in theory. Yeah. They're fun in theory to sort of speculate on, but looking at what we have, it's like, yeah, probably not, though.
Regardless, though, the Helldivers are the major symbol, despite their immediate and unfathomable death. The funny thing about a Helldiver, and I think it's kind of the humorous bit, is that the Helldiver can be both at the same time. They can be a larger-than-life looking hero that is eaten up immediately like fodder, much like in Starship Troopers, but they can also simultaneously be a really good soldier. I think in the world of Helldivers, the player character is canon in both methods. You can, the player character of the Helldiver immediately defrosting, being shot down in a hell pod, and immediately exploding and dying is canon. And then the Helldiver that comes down and basically like solos the entire mission by themselves is also canon. Like, Helldivers can very much be both.
What about the Helldiver that comes down and immediately triggers an orbital bombardment on their friends and puts all the mines down next to objectives? Yeah.
Also canon.
Oh boy, the survivor of my social credit score is about to go up.
Yeah, like it says, like, we just give you an example. The recent siege of the bot planet, we lost 60 million Helldivers, and the bots lost 3 billion bots. So the Helldivers are still very effective. Like it should be clear, humanity is a very good fighting force because it's all they do. They're militaristically propagandized people who do nothing but fight all the time. So they are very good, but they also are still propagandized heavily. Boss babying this, Acadian Imperial Guard soldier is an insanely good soldier, ridiculously good. But they do fight like an orc, which will rip them into like 40 giblets.
Shreds.
To shreds. But a single Imperial Guardsman going like turbo mode on his las gun could absolutely just with great aim triple headshot a couple orcs with like hyper powered like the las and then throw the pack at someone else to blow them up. And you can have a guardsman that kills 4 orcs. The same orcs that will rip into Stardies in 2.
True.
Like,
true.
There is no like both can happen. So that's some good stuff. Yes, sir.
Yeah. That is some good stuff. Just love my Orwellian authoritarian military. It's great.
And that right there is good old the Helldivers Super Earth lore drop.
Damn. I didn't think there was that much lore in Helldivers 2. Like back when I played it, it was like, oh yeah, this is very fun. It's like, oh yeah, there's Super Earth. I didn't realize there was like this much to it and this much like really kind of like deep lore, but like I love the satirical take on it, on this dystopian authoritarian Super Earth military. I dig it.
I had no idea it was that deep either. This is only for humanity too. We haven't done the second episode yet, but I must admit the thing I was the most interested about. I don't know if anyone at Arrowhead watches our stuff, but first things first. Thank you for making such a fantastic game. I think Helldivers is continually fantastic and just a genuinely great time. This is not sponsored either, just so it's clear. But the thing that I have enjoyed the most out of this episode, learning this kind of stuff, is actually the various ministries. I would love more of the ministries and their corporation counterparts to make some use in the game. I think they are, because there's a couple war bonds that do follow the ministries. But I would definitely like the amount of like more ministry-based stuff going on with that. I think it's very fun and very cool, and I would love to put more effort into that.
Hell yeah. I now I want to boot up Helldivers 2 again. I was never very good at it, but you know what? That's a fun game. So maybe I'll take a few. What are the enemies that are currently available? Is it because like sometimes they go out of rotation if the community like kills enough of them, right? The enemies, right? Sometimes there's bots, sometimes there's bugs, sometimes there's not, or something.
All of them, depending. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna kill me some robots.
Hell yeah, dude. All right.
Justin, we're really fucking up the war at the moment. Great.
We love democracy, my man. It's
Hell
great
yeah,
stuff. Helldivers is great. It is a pure, like, I have never seen a satire this thick outside of like Warhammer and a few other bits, but like it's just, they took every kind of dystopian and shoved it all together. We got Orwellian horror. We got government conspiracy. We got eugenics, baby. We got heavy authoritarian military. We got lies. We got shrews. We got all of it. We got weapons of mass democratization.
It's also nice that they just really lean into. And it's not grim dark like 40K. It's actually got like this really comedic overtone to it. So it's like, oh man, this is awful. But then it's also like really funny. Like they lean into it so hard that it's actually like, it's hysterical.
I really enjoy that because I find the luxury apartments built into the pyramids is so fucking funny. Modern living with an old age charm. I find it really funny because I know the development team is like Swedish. It carries a lot of obvious like authoritarian Big Brother, old school, Nazi Germany kind of stuff. And lots of like other stuff of that nature. But it also, I imagine, carries a great deal of humor from a European country looking at America. Like it looks at the fanaticism and the weirdness of so many Americans at times, of just this like cock gobbling government loving type crap. And that's
the uber patriotism, right?
Yes. And it's like coming from a country that's like a little less like hardcore in that nature, and being able to combine both old European issues of like the 40s and stuff mixed with the insane zealous citizenship looking at America, which is hilarious. And also, the automatons speak Swedish, I guess. So they added their own little bit to it, which I think is quite funny.
That is pretty good. Adding yourselves in as one of the enemies. That's and also the automatons look great. God, I remember fighting them and being very scared of them, and they're so cool. I want to ride one of those giant automaton tanks.
Hell yeah. Anyway, that's our episode for today for Super Earth, for good old
democracy, Earth? Of course.
Welcome to Earth. And for damn managed democracy, I'm gonna go vote, and an algorithm and an AI algorithm managed by Grok will tell me who I'm voting for.
No.
Let's go, baby! Yippee!
Relax. Feel the endless void of space. Feel the cold, vast loneliness pressing against the hull of your ship. Feel yourself fall. Now, let Super Earth catch you.